the tendencies, all that pissed off, kicking the ball, slamming the ball. You got any of that? Get rid of it. Nobody ain't got time for it.
Basketball, all right. Like I tell everybody, man, basketball, it literally saved my life.
It's going to be first layup right now. We're going to avoid the defender right now. Keep the ball in your left hand, right here to the middle.
And my aunt tell me this all the time. She like, I'm supposed to be dead or in jail.
Watch how they conduct themselves. All right? Just kind of working with us. And then,
like I said, my aunt, she watched me and she seen all my actions and the things I did as a kid. Pool, he's dead. A kid, friend of mine who I would have never thought would die before me, 40, dead. He got shot in the back when we was doing a B&E. And one of the things we used to do as kids, we was breaking houses and stuff like that. And one of the old guys shot him on the way coming out. A lot of people know about the Baltimore, probably seen the TV show The Wire. That was part of my life story. I was talking to one of my friends who just came home, and I'm just like, bro, did all this stuff, and it's kind of surreal. Like even looking at my life now or whatever, you sit there and you think about it. Like did we really do that stuff, or did all that stuff really happen? And it's like, yeah. When I was coming up, I was coming from a place of hopelessness. If I would have took you to all the places we lived at in Baltimore, it probably have been an all-day event. I probably lived in like maybe 15 different houses. My mother's got evicted all the time. So it was 1628 Federal Street. That's when I moved to my aunt.
second house right at 1628.
And I remember like talking to my mother, and she would always be like, "Oh, I'm doing fine, I'm doing fine." And I never forget going back home, and I was going to go see her. This is around the time when I was about to get married, and I remember going back, and I was like, where my mother at. I remember she was renting a room on the west side of Baltimore. I'm originally from East. And I was like, where's she at? They said she been staying in an abandoned house over there by Stop, Shop, and Save. And I'm like, what? And they like, they been staying in that house over there. And I looked, it was a damn abandoned house. I'll never forget walking in there, and it's the hallway or whatever. And I looked to the left, I'm like, Ma. And she, yeah. She recognized my voice. She got a little bed, big ass TV, and a little trash bag of clothes. And I'm like, and that shit like broke me down to see my mother in a situation like that. And I ain't know what the hell. I'm like, you going with me. Freshman year, I'm locking in, I'm focusing, I'm starting to play basketball. Still got my foot in the street or whatever, because again, you still trying to figure out what's next, what to do or whatever. I'm not gonna say I was a great student in school, and I'm hoping like, this could be something that could actually take me out of this neighborhood. Basketball. So my dream was to play and be an NBA player. So I came to Eastern EKU, had a great career here. I started trying to play professional basketball, semi-pro, but I kept coming back to Lexington. It was a hotel. I tell people this all the time, whatever, man. Like, it was on Richmond Road. I know you could pay there to stay there for a week. Stayed in there, and I convinced one of my homeboys to come back down to Lexington or whatever. and he moved in a room, the hotel room with me. And, we got two guys in there just trying to figure it out or whatever at the time, whatever. So I've been here before, just coming up or whatever. Like I've been in situations where I was actually homeless, or, and I always say, homeless, I mean, you got family and relatives and stuff like that, but if it ain't your house or your mom's house or something like that or whatever, so I always considered it homeless or whatever. But I've been in that situation before. I started training, and I tell people this story all the time. Actually, my wife today, she was the first person I've trained. So I started working her out, and from her, then somebody else came along, then somebody else, and somebody else, and I started getting a niche in this or whatever. And I decided I ended up buying my first apartment, renting my first apartment. Think about it, that's the first time in my life that I actually had my own rent, my own place, and I actually, had my first lease. So like, this is actually mine. Then I found the Ice Center off of Eureka Springs. When I got over here, I started doing my training, and of course you guys see how it's set up right here. I got a court with bleachers right there, and then this court is, not ideal for games, but we would host games and hold games out of here. So I'm at the ice center, I'm training, you know, and then I started realizing the problem with the ice center is I would get kicked out every year at December, and I could never train back in there on a consistent basis until March. And it made me think a little bit more, and then I figured out a new formula on how to do this. So I leased my first building over here on Palumbo, and we just went to work. People always say my mentor asked me, do you ever want me to pay him back, who helped me out? He always like, do the same thing I did for you for somebody else. I've been able to put over 100 kids in college through my basketball program, my nonprofit. I've been able to you know, help other guys get jobs, being able to create other businesses, you know, through basketball. You know, a lot of relationships I've been able to build and friendships I've been able to build through basketball. It's been big. And this is me helping out people with their kids, you know, just paying it forward or whatever. And in turn, they've been able to help me out. That's why I always just, you know, tell my guys the same thing, you know, at the end of the day.